Welcome back. Appreciate you joining us on What Matters This Week. I'm Lauren Maloney. Joining us this Sunday is Jennifer Rushlow from the Vermont Law School and Jim Murphy from the National Wildlife Federation. This is not an odd match. I promise you this makes sense. The Vermont Law School is partnering with the National Wildlife Federation when it comes to environmental advocacy and its Environmental Advocacy Clinic. So I need to know, how did this partnership come to be? How did it start?
Well, Vermont Law School has had a clinic focused on environmental advocacy for some time. It went by a different name until recently, where students have had the opportunity to practice through working with clients and to learn how to do environmental law that way. We've had this clinic since 2006. But we were really excited at the opportunity to gain a national environmental partner so that we could focus our efforts around one really important client, and that's how we were able to work with the National Wildlife Federation.
Yeah, National Wildlife Federation was very excited for the opportunity to expand its capacity to litigate, to bring legal advocacy on behalf of the conservation issues that it cares about. It's clean water, clean air, habitat for wildlife. So this was a perfect partnership for us.
Okay, so did you reach out to them then, Jennifer?
It was sort of an ongoing conversation. It was sort of serendipitous in that we had a leadership change going on at the clinic, and we were thinking about what we wanted to do next, and that led to this conversation.
Yeah, and the clinic and National Wildlife Federation have been doing work over the years. The clinic has represented National Wildlife Federation on some key cases over the years. In the spring, they gave our CEO, Colin O'Mara, an honorary degree. So that helped get the conversation started. And some key VLS professors actually used to be with the National Wildlife Federation. So we've had a long-standing relationship, and this was a great opportunity to formalize it.
Let's talk about Vermont Law School for a little bit. Known for its environmental law program.
That's right.
You said, at last check, you had students from 38 states and 4 countries.
That's right.
So, we think of it as this possibly little school in Vermont, but it has this public stage. So just give us some background, if you may.
Absolutely. So we were one of the first environmental law schools, really. We've been doing environmental law since environmental law was a field in the 70s, when environmental laws really came around for the first time. And so we've been doing it the longest, among the schools that have been doing it, like, George Washington and DC as another great program that started early. But our program is really the most comprehensive, the most premier environmental law program in the country, if not the world. And we have programs that focus really on all of the core areas of environmental law and policy, from energy and agriculture to international environmental law to wildlife, natural resources, to environmental justice, and working with low-income communities and communities of color.
So what are your students interested in, I guess, so to speak, when they come to Vermont Law School?
Yeah, our students are interested in a pretty wide array of opportunities. Frankly, I think for many of them, what Jim does is the dream job, being an advocate at an environmental nonprofit where they get to fight for causes that they believe in. A lot of them come in with that goal, but we also have people that go on to work in the energy industry for utilities. We have folks that are in-house counsel at major corporations. We have people who've started their own companies. So it's really a full range, but we do have a lot of very advocacy-minded students.
Okay. So how has this partnership, it's fairly new, I assume. So what has been established so far between the two?
Well, a couple things have been established. For one, I've actually moved into a capacity where I'm directing the clinic. So I'm there 4 days a week, working with students, working with the staff there. We've already started to bring cases. For instance, the clinic has helped National Wildlife Federation bring a case of really national significance protecting a huge salmon fishery in Alaska. And they've also assisted us on some ongoing litigation that we have. And they've assisted us in commenting on some rules that the EPA and other agencies are proposing that pose pretty major threats to water and wildlife. So in just 2 or 3 months, we've already started to get a lot of work going, and we've got a lot that's going to come down the pipeline.
So the students serve as lead attorney. Is that what I have right, so to speak?
They work in teams. So we have a staff of licensed attorneys that work in the clinic. There's Jim, who's the director, and then there's several other staff attorneys, senior attorneys as well, and a paralegal. It really mirrors the format of a law firm, and then the students work in teams with those licensed attorneys. So they're really doing the work of researching and writing and even going to court, going to the legislature, but always under the close supervision of a licensed attorney.
Okay, so that those attorneys are providing the oversight.
Yeah.
How are the students getting ready for this big step as playing, I say playing the attorney, but you know what I mean, you know, in this capacity?
Right.
I think they're really learning by doing. We give them assignments. We give them more oversight than they probably would get in, say, their first job out of law school, because our goal is, as staff attorneys and supervising attorneys, is to teach them. We also have 2 seminars each week where we talk about issues that come up in practice. We do simulations. So they get, you know, both real-world experience and then I think a level of guidance that they're not going to get probably in their first job, but I think will be very useful when they get onto the real world.
And I would add that the students do the clinic after they've been in law school for a while, so they all have this uniform curriculum in the first year that's really like boot camp for lawyers, and that gives them a really solid foundation. And then they're not doing a clinic until their 2nd or 3rd year of law school.
Okay.
So they're not being set loose on clients until they really have a good solid foundation.
I was going to ask, is there steps, so to speak, that they take? You know, do some students take depositions? Do some students act, you know, when it comes to in an actual case, in an actual courtroom?
Certainly, I think that, you know, students they have some choice, and the director has some choice in deciding who will work on what. And some of our students bring incredible backgrounds and experiences to their work. I mean, it's not uncommon for people who started in a career as a scientist to come to Vermont Law School to do environmental law. So sometimes it sort of depends on what the student's bringing to their work.
Yeah, no, I mean, they really come in and, you know, the cases are at various stages, and that kind of determines what presents certain opportunities in cases. Then obviously, you know, legal work is not always predictable. But we try to match students up with cases that interest them, and you know, different students want different things. You know, some are really interested in, you know, oral advocacy. Some want, you know, to improve their writing. So we try to match them up with the interest in the skills they want to build, and give them the best experience they can over a semester. Or some students stay on longer than that too.
How many students exactly are in this clinic in partnering with the National Wildlife Federation?
This current semester we have 12. We want to increase that. We're hoping to take 18 next semester, and then have it be 18 or more going forward.
Are you using this as a promotion to or recruitment tool to get more students involved and interested in Vermont Law School?
Absolutely. It's both a tool for engaging students who are already enrolled at Vermont Law School, and you know, our enrollment numbers were really high looking ahead to the spring semester because students are really excited and passionate about this topic. A lot of people seek out Vermont Law School and environmental law in general because of a passion around natural resource protection. And so this partnership and that focus of the clinic is really compelling. And so certainly, you know, we're taking that information on the road as we meet with prospective students.
Yeah. I was going to say, when it comes to environmental law specifically, how popular, for lack of a description, is it now maybe compared to years past?
Very.
I think it's very popular, and with increasing popularity. I also think the type of fields and the type of work that is classified as environmental law is changing. I mean, it used to be just the application of kind of the major statutes like the Clean Water Act and the Clean Air Act. But I think now, as we have climate change and we have really the challenge of transforming our economy to be more sustainable, as we start looking at our food and our agricultural systems, what it means to be an environmental attorney is becoming much more expansive. It really touches all sectors, and I think the knowledge that comes from, you know, an environmental law school is preparing students for much more than what it did, you know, 15, 20 years ago.
Jim, you hinted at a case, but the clinic is working on a legal challenge to the destructive Pebble Mine.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about what exactly is going on here when it comes to this issue.
Well, the Bristol Bay watershed in Alaska is the world's most productive salmon fishery. All 5 of the Pacific salmon species use that as a breeding ground. Half of the world's Chinook salmon catch comes from that fishery. It supports both the native indigenous population there as well as the local population. It generates about 20,000 jobs and $1.5 billion worth of economic activity from that salmon run. And the Pebble Mine wants to put an enormous copper mine right in the middle of that very precious wildlife area. And in 2014, the EPA said that the destruction for the actual footprint of the mine, plus the toxic discharge that will come from processing mining of copper and gold, would pose an undue risk to that resource. And the current administration has reversed that, and we are filing suit to stop that mine and to get the administration to step up to the plate and do what it needs to do, which is protect that resource.
Students are working directly
Yes.
when it comes to arguing that issue.
Yes.
Jennifer, when it comes to graduating some of these students, how many stay in Vermont? I mean, obviously that must be a big goal of the school.
Absolutely. So currently we have about 650 students enrolled, and on average, we find that we have about 20% of our students stay in the state of Vermont. And as you mentioned earlier, we have people come from all over the country and all over the world to come to Vermont Law School. So some of those people who are staying are new recruits, new Vermonters. But we find that the students really, really love their time here during law school, and it's hard to get them to leave. They want to stay.
Appreciate you both being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back on What Matters This Week.